How many days have you wasted saying, "Tomorrow I'll change. Tomorrow I'll start. Tomorrow I'll do better"? Laziness always whispers, "There's still time." But each day slips away and never returns. We scroll, we sleep, we delay, and suddenly weeks, months, even years are gone. Friend, laziness is more dangerous than we think. It doesn't just steal your energy, it steals your purpose. It takes the precious time God has given and buries it in excuses. Proverbs 6:9-11 asks us directly, "How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief." Laziness is not only about sleeping too much, it's about wasting the time and opportunities that God placed in your hands. Today, God is calling you to wake up, to rise, and to live with intention. Because every day is a gift, and wasting it is one of the greatest dangers to your soul. Chapter 1. The Danger of Laziness. The Bible speaks clearly about the danger of laziness. It describes the lazy person as someone who always finds an excuse, always delays, always avoids responsibility. Proverbs 26:13 says, "The sluggard says, 'There's a lion in the road, a fierce lion roaming the streets.'" In other words, the lazy person invents reasons not to act. Laziness feels harmless at first. It looks like comfort, like rest, but it slowly eats away at your future. It destroys discipline, weakens character, and keeps you from stepping into God's plan. Think about this. How many dreams have died? Not because they were impossible, but because of procrastination. How many callings were wasted? Not because God didn't open doors, but because we never got up to walk through them? Laziness is dangerous because it disguises itself as harmless comfort, while silently robbing us of purpose. The Bible shows us that time is a treasure. Each day is a gift we cannot get back. Psalm 90:12 says, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." Laziness ignores this truth. It tells us there's always tomorrow. But wisdom tells us tomorrow is not promised. Friend, the danger of laziness is not only that it wastes your time, it wastes your life. And a wasted life is something we can never get back. That's why God calls us to rise, to be awake, and to live faithfully with the time He has given. Chapter 2. Laziness steals your purpose. Laziness doesn't just waste time, it steals the very purpose God has placed on your life. Jesus told a powerful parable in Matthew 25 about 3 servants who were each given talents, or bags of gold, by their master. 2 of them used what they were given and multiplied it. But the 3rd servant buried his talent in the ground. He did nothing with what was entrusted to him. When the master returned, he was angry and called that servant wicked and lazy. The man wasn't punished for stealing or for doing evil. He was punished for doing nothing. That's the tragedy of laziness. God has given you gifts, abilities, opportunities, and time. But when you choose comfort over calling, when you delay instead of acting, you bury what God gave you. Laziness convinces us that we'll use our gifts later, that we'll obey God tomorrow, that we'll serve when it's convenient. But tomorrow often never comes. And slowly, the purpose God designed for us slips away unused. Friend, God didn't create you to bury your life in the ground. He created you to shine, to build, to serve, to bless. Ephesians 5:14 says, "Wake up, sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." Laziness wants you to stay asleep, but God is calling you to wake up. Don't let excuses steal your purpose. Don't let comfort rob you of your calling. The Master has entrusted you with something valuable. The question is, Will you bury it, or will you use it for His glory? Chapter 3. Learn from the ant. The Bible gives us a surprising teacher about diligence, the ant. Proverbs 6:6 says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise." At first, it seems almost insulting. How could we learn from such a tiny creature? But God chose the ant as an example because it shows qualities we often lack: consistency, foresight, and discipline. The ant doesn't need anyone watching over it. It doesn't wait for instructions or make excuses. Quietly, steadily, it works. During summer, when food is plentiful, the ant gathers and stores. It prepares for the winter long before the cold arrives. And because of its diligence, it survives when the season changes. The ant teaches us a crucial lesson. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't put off what you can do today. Use the time God gives you wisely, because the seasons of life are always changing. Laziness, on the other hand, ignores the future. It lives only for the comfort of today. It says, "I'll do it later," but later often becomes never. That's why Proverbs warns that a little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty will come on you like a thief. Proverbs 6:10-11. Laziness doesn't just leave us unprepared, it brings loss. Friend, what if you lived with the wisdom of the ant? What if you saw each day as an opportunity to prepare, to build, to grow, to sow seeds that will bear fruit in the future? God has called you not to drift through life, but to live with intention. Even small, consistent steps of diligence today can create a harvest tomorrow. Learn from the ant. Do what you can now, and you won't regret later. Chapter 4. Work as worship. When we think about work, we often see it as something we have to do. Our job, our studies, our daily responsibilities. But the Bible lifts work to a higher level. Work is worship when it is done for God. Paul writes in Colossians 3:23, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." That means even the most ordinary tasks can become holy when we offer them to God. Laziness robs us of this joy. It convinces us that work is meaningless, something to avoid. But when we see our efforts as worship, suddenly everything changes. Sweeping a floor, writing an essay, preparing a meal, helping a coworker. These can all honor God when done with love and faithfulness. Work becomes not just survival, but service. Think of Jesus. Before his public ministry, he spent years working as a carpenter. Those hidden days were not wasted. They honored God just as much as his miracles and teachings. He showed us that no work is too small to matter when it is done with faithfulness. Friend, killing laziness is not just about pushing yourself harder. It's about changing your perspective. When you rise early, when you give your best, when you stay faithful in the task before you, you are saying to God, "Lord, this is for you." Work becomes a song of praise, a way of showing gratitude for the time and strength he has given you. So ask yourself, how would your day look different if you saw every responsibility as an offering to God? Laziness says, "This doesn't matter," but worship says, "Everything matters when it's for him." Chapter 5. Practical steps to kill laziness. It's one thing to know that laziness is dangerous. It's another to fight it in daily life. The truth is, laziness won't disappear on its own. We have to kill it, step by step, with God's help. Here are some practical ways to do it. First, pray for a renewed mind. Laziness is not just about the body. It starts in the heart. Romans 12:2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Begin each day asking God to give you discipline and focus. Second, start small. Don't wait for a perfect plan or the right feeling. Begin with one small step. Wake up on time, finish one task, open your Bible. Proverbs 13:4 says, The soul of the sluggard craves and gets nothing, while the soul of the diligent is richly supplied. Action, even small action, breaks laziness. Third, build good habits. Laziness thrives in chaos, but discipline grows in routine. Set times for prayer, for work, for rest. Guard those times as sacred. Over time, habits become natural strength. Fourth, surround yourself with accountability. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 reminds us that two are better than one, because if one falls, the other can lift them up. Share your goals with a friend, a mentor, or a community of faith. They can encourage you when you feel weak. Finally, remember time is a gift. Psalm 90:12 prays, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." Laziness wants you to believe tomorrow is guaranteed. Wisdom reminds you tomorrow is not promised. Every day matters. Friend, killing laziness is not about becoming a machine. It's about being faithful with the life God has given you. You don't need to do everything at once, but you do need to start. And as you take each step, God will strengthen you to keep going. Chapter 6. Redeem the time you have. The Apostle Paul gives us a powerful reminder in Ephesians 5:15-16. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. In other words, time is not something to waste, it is something to redeem. Each day is a chance to love, to grow, to serve, to shine God's light in a dark world. Laziness blinds us to this truth. It tricks us into thinking there will always be more time, more chances, more tomorrows. But the reality is, none of us knows how many days we have. That is why every day matters. Redeeming the time doesn't mean working without rest. God Himself rested on the seventh day. It means using your time wisely, with purpose. It means choosing prayer over endless distraction, choosing service over selfishness, choosing growth over excuses. It's about living each day with the awareness that your time belongs to God, and He gave it to you for a reason. Friend, no matter how much time you think you've wasted, God can redeem it. He can turn lost years into lessons, wasted days into testimonies, and missed opportunities into new beginnings. But the choice is yours. Will you keep wasting the gift, or will you start living wisely today? Stop wasting the time God gave you. Laziness is not just a bad habit, it's a thief. It steals your time, your gifts, your calling, and your joy. But you don't have to let it win. God has given you strength, purpose, and time. Don't bury them in excuses. Rise up, wake up. Kill your laziness before it kills your purpose. Remember the lessons. Laziness is dangerous. It steals your calling. It keeps you from preparing like the ant. It blinds you from seeing work as worship, and it wastes the time God entrusted to you. But when you choose diligence, when you offer your daily work to God, when you take small steps of obedience, your life becomes fruitful and full of meaning. Friend, life is short. Time is precious. God has given you this day as a gift. Don't waste it. Don't bury it. Don't let laziness rob you of the blessing He has prepared. Say with your heart, Lord, my time is yours. Teach me to use it for your glory, because a life lived faithfully for God is never wasted. It is rich, it is full, and it echoes into eternity.